Right now, if you go to your mail in the lobby, you'll see a bunch of free stuff. This is mainly from people. I saw a lot of complaints on Reddit about the gear that was given out in Milestone of Time to new players. Let's just go ahead and take a look at all the gear and see what we get. And we also get a bunch of runes. This is the thing that I like the most. The runes are very, very appreciated. And then also some catalysts, which are whatever for older accounts. I think probably pretty useful for anybody who is a little bit newer. Let's just go ahead and claim all of this. And I'm also going to switch accounts because this account that I'm on does not actually have the units. Alright, so here is all the gear pieces. This first set should be the one for Mort. Destruction, Bruiser gear, pretty much none of the HP values look super, super high, but it's got, like, this is Epic Dash gear. 88 equipment score, I vaguely remember being about what the Epic Dash gear was, and it's the same icons as the Epic Dash gear. And then this should be the Rinok one, the 17 speed base, speed plus pursuit set. This one here, I think, goes on Afternoon Soak Flan, and then the speed torrent one goes on Landy. That one I know, because I actually got that far on a new account. So let's try them out on the units and see what it looks like, I guess. So Rinok is the one that I think people, let's turn off her imprint, were complaining about the most. Let's sort this by acquisition. And the 17 speed, I think for newer players, is probably going to be pretty useful. This being HP main, tech main would have been nicer. And then plus this. 291 Rinok, I don't think is super, super fast, but because of speed RNG at higher ranges, this can speed RNG up to, well, speed RNG is up to 306, which is exactly what my spare gear Rinok is on. So this does speed RNG a pretty wide range, though I don't think 17 speed main is that fast. Especially for right sides, though, this might be, like, for some people, just their fastest, or, like, maybe not fastest, but in their, like, top row of right sides, depending on RNG, even for some older players, just because, yeah, it's just like that sometimes. I don't think my attack percent rings are all that fast either. So this is just the Rinok gear, I guess. Probably this being attack main would be better. Let's take a look at Landy. Let's also turn this off. Hopefully I remember to put that back on. My wall of order is plus 18, so we're just going to, whatever, it's a little bit more attack. The Landy here should be this, plus this, plus this, plus this. This here. We're overcapped by 2 crit. Oh, because we have the EE. So this only goes up to 90 normally, and the EE brings us up to 102. Pretty fast. I mean, the damage is never going to look super impressive because of how low equip score these pieces are. I mean, it is a Landy. This is like serviceable PvE DPS gear, I think, especially if you're pretty early on. It's a little bit fast for that purpose, though. I think there's too much speed and not enough damage for most PvE content, but this is like serviceable filler gear. And then the torrent sets aren't amazing, but, you know, like, toss a lesser mod gem, mod defense over to flat attack. I think for torrent, which is a set that people might have a bit less of, could be useful for newer players. And who else was there? Afternoon Soak Flan. Her artifact, I mean, would be the personal one, but I have plus 30. We're gonna turn this off. Should be this stuff. So the nice thing about this gear is that it's pretty much perfect. There's only 2 wasted crit damage. You have no crit chance. Again, the overall equipment score is still low, but just because I feel like on a lot of these pieces, sometimes you just end up with wasted crit chance. It doesn't have any wasted stats besides 2 crit damage, which is pretty solid. I think this is like definitely fine for newer players. 350 plus 3.7k is pretty solid. Plus you have a good amount of speed on here too. I think this isn't bad at all. Definitely, like, I don't know, the equipment score is so low on these. You're definitely going to want to improve on these. And the last one, let's put this back on, is Mort. Okay, it's 18 crit chance, so let's keep that in mind. And then you have the EE for 14 HP. Is Artifact that can give you like a single Holy Sacrifice or something? The Mort one's definitely not that, it's the first one here. This is not a lot of HP. I think generally for Mort, if you're going to build him Bruiser, you want more HP and less crit damage. My Mort is also not very good. Don't look at that. You probably want a lot more HP on this, I would say. One thing about this, actually, I think for... Well, so they originally gave you this gear for Mort to pair with Young Senya, who I think they gave just 3 HP sets. I think for newer players, you actually probably want to put this on Genesis Ras, because as far as I know, prior to this milestone in Time Gear, you didn't really get any sort of like HP Bruiser gear. So having something like this to toss on your Genesis Ras, you're missing a little bit of crit chance, but you can just like look to improve some of these slots. It's a pretty serviceable like early game Genesis Ras. I think this is definitely what I would do with this gear piece. Put it on Mort instead of Genesis Ras. So I think new players now have 2, technically. So you can put one on Ras, one on Mort. This is actually, even for, like, I mean, people who start later and don't end up getting both these gear sets, and only have one, I think this definitely goes much better on Ras than Mort, and you just fix the crit chance somehow. I'm trying to figure out which slot has the least, but yeah, you have to find a way to fix the crit chance. Otherwise, yeah. Yes, I had. Well, he's free SSS, whatever. So, this gear for, I think, veterans, only stuff you're probably going to keep is maybe the 17 speeds. I'm not keeping those boots. I am going to sell everything else. The 17 speed gear, I don't think I'm using this, honestly, but I will keep it around and pretend like I will, and then maybe I'll sell it later. Because when they first released the 17 speed gear in the packs, I think I bought the first one just for fun. I don't use any of those. I think there was actually an effectiveness main ring that I think I sometimes use. Besides that, I don't really use the rest. So we're going to keep these. I'm selling the boots. And this is actually a pretty good amount of powder. Even if you're not going to use this, nice injection of powder. I'll take it. Hopefully they decide to give us more of those, even if I don't use them, just because the powder is nice. Anyways, yeah, there's definitely... So that was about the Milestone of Radiance, because new players get a lot of stuff in the track. I'm fine with them getting, like, limited heroes or whatever. I think there's really only one section of players that get kind of shafted by this, which is... If you started after Freerin collab, I think you're kind of sad, because you don't even get the benefit of, like, having Freerin. You do get a bit more time to save up like currency for some of the MLs, mainly because new MLs are really strong. If you manage to roll ML Diane plus Nodos, for example, that's really, really good. Otherwise, like, I think is a little bit sad. You also have your Forge gears. The Deep situation, I fully expect... Well, we'll see. I think they'll address it eventually. It's just going to take a bit more time because I'm not sure how they're going to like retroactively fix it. A lot of people have opened their chests. I'm not sure if they have any method of like tracking what units everybody has gotten. And I think I've already like talked about this, but the way the shop itself is set up is a bit... It's not going to like, because you can't really clear the shop super well, it's going to be hard for people to like deal with that. So we'll see what they do. We'll see how we go forward. But hey, a bunch of free powder for people at least, even if you're not going to use the gear. And the runes are probably the most, well, one of the most important parts of that free stuff to me.